Hey, it's me again. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm judging more people again on Am I the Villain? Am I the villain for getting my neighbor and client banned by all the local babysitters after they tried to renege on a deal? In fact, I had to look up how to pronounce renege because I've never actually seen that word before. Over the holidays, I got a chance to go to the Caribbean with my neighbors as their nanny. My parents weren't thrilled, but it was after Christmas, so they let me go. The deal was pretty simple. It was 10 days at an all-inclusive resort. I would share my room with the kids and take care of them for 7 days and nights. In return, I got $500 and 3 days to myself. The rooms were adjoining. I think that's the right word. Joined them. I think so. I don't know. I didn't know what renege meant, so who am I to say? My parents insisted I get everything in writing so there were no mistakes. Basically, we agreed that I would work 2 days and take 1 day off, over and over. No problem, I thought, and I checked out the included activities and any excursions I might like. On my 3rd day off, I had planned to go scuba diving. I got up early and went on my excursion. When I got back, the parents were mad that I left without warning. I reminded them that we had a deal, and they said that they had met another couple there and they were going to go golfing and that I screwed up their plans. I don't know why they made plans on one of my free days. They were upset all the way home. When we got back, they posted about how irresponsible I was. One of the other families called me to get my side of the story. I sent them a picture of the deal we agreed on. They said they knew I wouldn't do what I was being accused of. Then they started commenting on the post by my neighbors. My parents did this also, but I think everyone thought they were just protecting me. So now it's a big deal and everyone knows that they tried to change our deal without talking to me. Some of the other babysitters or their parents are now saying that they won't babysit for my neighbors anymore. I feel bad about it because they paid a lot for my vacation, and if they asked, I probably would have switched my excursion day to the last day. Anyway, they are upset that I narked, which I didn't. They said that I could have talked to them if I had a problem, but I'm not the one who made it public. Yeah, definitely not the villain, okay? So first of all, it was in writing. So already they're wrong. Second of all, they should have told you if they wanted the thing that was in writing to not be what was already agreed on. Third, they're the ones who posted about you first. I think this is the biggest thing here. Like, you didn't even say anything. You weren't gonna post anything at all. I mean, as far as I can tell from this post at least. And yeah, they're the ones who made the post. And then when somebody else reached out to you, then you told your side of the story. So, not at all the villain. Am I the villain for not going to my brother's child-free wedding because my son wasn't invited and his cousins were? Recently, my family were invited to my brother's wedding. Me, my husband, our daughter, 21, and our son, 18. Everyone except our younger son, 16, because it is a child-free wedding. I called my brother to confirm that my son wasn't invited because I have been to child-free weddings before that are 13 plus or 16 plus, and my son won't behave badly or need such a close supervision as a younger child would. My brother was very apologetic and said he couldn't make exceptions to his rule, and some of his friends have much younger kids and he doesn't want to look like he is showing favoritism by allowing my 16-year-old to come. That was fine by me. I understand child-free weddings. I had a child-free wedding prior to having kids. My brother has 2 children of his own from a previous marriage, 16 and 17. And 2 of my kids are also under 18, 13, and 15. And I assume none of them would be invited either. The wedding is in a different country and my family would be flying out for the weekend. My 16-year-old is a bit sad about not being invited because him and my brother are close. I don't want to leave him home alone for the weekend, so I have made plans that on the night of the wedding, him and his cousins could hang out in the hotel, use the pool, get room service, and make a night of it. Then the next day we could explore the city as a family. So my son doesn't feel sad about being left out. When I told my brother the plan, he thought it was a great idea, but when I told my sister, she was surprised and said her kids have been invited and that she didn't know it was child-free. 18 plus. She had checked with my brother who told her it was 13 plus, so my niece was invited. So we both called my brother, who admitted that my son is the only under 18 in the immediate family who has not been invited, though he wouldn't say why despite me pushing him. My sister and I have both decided not to attend as we are pissed off at him, and she loves my 16-year-old. My mother is calling us both up saying we are being childish and letting my brother down. My brother's soon-to-be wife is also furious at us and says that my brother is distraught and that my son was excluded for a good reason? What? Once again, not saying the reason. What? My brother-in-law, sister's husband, is also upset and blaming me for my sister not going, and I'm starting to feel bad and wish I had just let sleeping dogs lie. But am I the villain? Edit, a few people have asked, and I just want to mention that we are a Christian family. My brother's soon-to-be wife, being much more religious than the rest of us, though we also go to church. Except my son, who stopped being Christian a few years ago. I don't mind personally, but it has caused some discontentment. Not saying that is the reason at all, just if I were guessing. Okay, not the villain. Mainly because it seems like this rule only applies to you, the whole child-free thing, because like stated in the post, another family member was like, hey, what about my 13-year-old? And they were like, oh, it's 13 plus, so your kid is fine. It's just another instance of a child being excluded for no real reason. I guess it would have to be because your son isn't really religious anymore, because that seems to be the only possible thing, unless there's just more to the story that is not listed here, but based on what is written, not the villain. And why do people keep doing this? I read a story yesterday that had the same sort of issue going on. Am I the villain for throwing my mother-in-law out of our house because she made my wife cry? My wife and I live in a different city than her original family. Chloe has always had a strained relationship with her mother, and she clearly likes our current arrangement. The issues they have are numerous, and for several years even included her sexual orientation and choice to marry a woman. My mother-in-law came to stay with us and see her grandchildren. We have 2 kids, 7 and 5-year-old boys, for about 2 weeks. For the first couple of days, everything was smooth. She had her own space, and she spent some time with the kids. Later on, I noticed Chloe was in a bad mood when I came home from work. I asked her about it, but she brushed it off as tiredness. I didn't push it, but I did feel the tension between Ruth and Chloe. They have a long history of problems. Yesterday, I came home to a crying Chloe, and Ruth was nowhere to be seen. My heart literally broke and shattered into pieces. Chloe said her mother had told her awful things. I'm usually a very calm and controlled person, but that sight just did something awful to my heart. So I went online, booked a ticket to her hometown. The plane would take off 10 hours later. Knocked on mother-in-law's door and told her that she had overstayed her welcome and was leaving now. We had a huge argument. She used that opportunity to throw a few insults in Chloe's direction because she didn't even come downstairs despite all the shouting. She later said she was relieved her mother left early because she had no idea how to go through with the remaining days with her. I arranged a car and told Ruth to immediately get going. She finally left. However, Chloe's phone has been blowing up with messages from her siblings, aunt, and uncle saying we were extremely rude to Ruth, and most of them blaming her for marrying an arrogant villain like me. Her father called and said how we were both horrible to Ruth, that she just wanted to see her grandchildren, and we had ruined the family. Was I the villain in the situation? No, this woman came into your house and then proceeded to insult your wife. It doesn't matter if the wife is her daughter. That's just not nice. How are they gonna call you guys rude when you gave her a place to stay and were hosting her, and she turned around and made her daughter cry? I do like how this was a really, like, no questions asked, just saw Chloe crying and just straight up bought the ticket and was like, you're leaving, goodbye. You made her cry. I don't care what you said, I don't care what happened before that, you made my wife cry and now you are leaving. I love that. Am I the villain for yelling at my mom over a bad birthday present? My birthday is today, and I received one gift from my parents, an expensive jewelry set that came with matching earrings, necklace, and bracelet. I am a bit of a tomboy and don't wear any jewelry, not hate to girls that do that, but it just isn't my style. My mom knows this, and despite knowing it, she has given me variations of this same gift every year since I was 12. My sister gets the same, but she is a girly girl and loves it. My brother usually gets gaming gear of about the same value, which he loves. Every year, I ask my mom throughout the year to get me something other than jewelry. I even give specific examples like a snowboard or a phone of the same value. Every year I open my gift and it is jewelry and I hate it. Never wear it and it just adds to the pile of never worn jewelry in my cupboard. Lo and behold, this morning I was once again given jewelry and this time I snapped. I yelled at my mom, asking why she got this and why she keeps ignoring my requests. She said it was the same thing my sister got at my age and that I should be grateful I am getting anything, let alone something so expensive. I argued back saying that I hate it. She should have known I would hate it and didn't understand why she refused to listen to me. I walked out and have gone to the beach to get away and calm down. My dad and sister have both texted saying I need to come home and apologize to my mom, saying that she means well and just wants to get me some nice stuff for special occasions. My sister said that I'm being ungrateful and I should get a job if I want other things so badly. My brother texted saying he's on my side and then he gets why I reacted the way I did. I am probably going to be grounded over this regardless, but I feel like my reaction was kind of fair. I don't know, maybe I'm just being a moody teenager. Am I the villain? I don't think so. One thing that particularly irks me is when parents don't listen to their children, and this is a clear case of the parent not listening to the child. Like, obviously, they go out of their way to get gifts the sister likes and to get gifts the brother likes, but they won't bother trying to get OP something that she likes. I don't like that. It's a waste, and it shows that they don't actually care about what OP likes or what she has to say, and I don't think that's right. So not the villain. I also don't like the part where it says, oh, mom just means well, because clearly she doesn't. If she meant well, she would try harder to listen to the daughter and actually get her something she wants, instead of something that mom wants to get her, because I don't know why mom insists on getting jewelry when clearly OP never wears it. Am I the villain for not answering the door? I am 5 months postpartum. I pump and breastfeed, and my house is a disaster 90% of the time. I have made it clear to my family, especially my sister, that I don't appreciate when people just show up at my house with no warning. It is stressful for me because I always panic and start running around trying to get dressed. Today, my sister texted me asking if she could stop by with my brother-in-law to see my baby. I texted back and said today was not a good day. They came anyway after I said not to, and I didn't know until I got a text saying we are already on your road. I said sorry, but nobody told you yes. I was mid-blowout diaper change when I heard the knock. I also had no bra and no undies on under my PJ pants, and of course my house was a disaster. I was scrambling around to finish the diaper change and find a hoodie to throw on to cover my boobs and put some underwear on. By the time I made it to the door, they were already gone, and I had text messages from my sister saying I was rude for not answering the door, and I tried explaining I did answer the door, just not in time to catch them. I've had so many conversations with my sister about how rude it is for people to just show up at someone's house, especially with a baby. The baby could be sleeping. I could be mid-pump or breastfeeding. My sister later said I made her cry the whole way home for not answering the door, and she really wanted her husband to see the baby because he hasn't in a while. I just feel like she did it all to herself and had no reason to cry the whole way home. Yeah, no, there was no reason for her to cry all the way home. Honestly, if they just waited a little bit longer, you would have answered the door. I wouldn't have answered the door anyway if I were you. It's very rude of them to just decide to come over whenever just to see the baby, especially when you've already established that you don't want anyone to just show up randomly, and you already said no when they asked you earlier in the day if they can come by. So, yeah. Sister absolutely did do it all to herself. Alright, well, that's all for today. I will see you again tomorrow with some more. If you like the content or if you just like me, go ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment on other subreddits you want me to go over, and, yeah. Bye!